Welcome everyone to the Larsonland podcast. I'm your host, Sawyer Hill, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Dylan Bradshaw. We come on here every single Wednesday and talk about all things involving the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Young Money Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson came oh so close in both of his races, doing double duty at Road America this past weekend, picking up a second place finish in the Xfinity Series and a third on the Cup side of things. Before we talk about that, Dylan, let's go over the finale, the last two nights of Pennsylvania Sprint Week for Kyle. Um, on the next to last night, he was there at Port Royal and really seemed like he had a car that was capable of winning the race there. Got up to second right behind Brent Marks after he started fifth in the feature. During a late caution, tire going down for Larson, eventually blew the tire, lost a couple spots in the restart before he blew that tire, and that pretty much ended his night. And Brent Marks was able to pick up the win.
Yeah, tough one there, Port Royal. Going in the night, I thought that would be a good track for him there. You know, he's usually pretty good at Port Royal, so high hopes going into it. But yeah, just unfortunate the right rear tire blew, battling for lead with Marks. But it kind of puts it up to, would he have passed Marks? Marks has just been, on fire during Speed Week. He captured the Speed Week championship a few nights ago, but yeah, just tough night. I was hoping we'd pick up the win there, and then the next night was Hagerstown. We were actually on location there at Hagerstown. He started second, and unfortunately finished second. It was kind of a deja vu kind of thing. Remembered or similar to Lincoln that we went to. Larson leading most of the way, and lap traffic just ultimately caught up to him, and Marks just kind of scooped up the win.
Yeah, definitely. Brent Marks is on fire this past week. Maybe I should not have bought that T-shirt back on Monday night at Lincoln, but congrats to Brent Marks picking up the 2022 Pennsylvania Sprint Week Championship. He definitely earned that one. But yeah, at Hagerstown, definitely seemed like, I mean, from the beginning of the night there at Hagerstown, I thought that the track was going to be pretty fast. When we got there, it was pretty watered down, and in hot laps, I mean, it looked like it was pretty fast, but when time trials started from the beginning of the group and time trials to the end, the track slowed down a ton. Kyle was actually very lucky to go out earlier in the group there at time trials and ended up winning his heat race, starting second in the feature. But I mean, he was just, I mean, honestly, Kyle looked like he was going to be able to run away with that race, and he had lapped all the way up to seventh place. I mean, it just seemed like the green flag run that they went on there. It just kept going on and on and on. And I know me and you both, we've been waiting to see that first Larson win in person for us, and every time I'm there and Larson's in the lead, it just seems like every single lap is longer and longer and longer, and eventually lap traffic, got became too much, and Brent Marks was able to squeak by and pick up the win there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As the laps went on, I was just kind of hoping it would end. Every time he went out of that turn two exit, it just looked like he was gaining more and more speed, and yeah, just the lap traffic kind of screwed him. And then we got that late caution right there before the end of the race. We just kind of looked at each other like, oh, there might be a chance, but yeah, just didn't have anything for Marks there. He was just completely dominant all week during Speed Week and fastest car for sure, pretty much every single night.
All right, so moving on from Pennsylvania Sprint Week, Kyle Larson, like I said before, he did double duty this weekend with NASCAR. On the Xfinity side of things, again, man, it looked like Kyle was gonna run away with that thing. I mean, he started on the pole, picked up the Xfinity Pole Award on Friday, and going into the race on Saturday, I was kind of thinking maybe this was going to be a big time win for Kyle going into the Cup race on Sunday. He led the most laps in the race. It looked like he led pretty much the entire race before, right there at the end, late race caution came out for Cole Custer, had a brake failure, and Ty Gibbs was able to get by him for the win in NASCAR overtime. Dylan, what were your thoughts on the move Ty Gibbs made on Kyle Larson?
Yeah, that move was it was pretty solid, but it kind of looked like Kyle, missed his marks there. He wasn't hitting those turns too well at the end, but of course that wouldn't even have happened if typical Kyle Larson fashion, NASCAR overtime gets screwed by late caution. He was what 3 seconds ahead of him before that caution came out, so it was another race looking like it was Larson's race to, he was just dominating and looked like he was going to win it for sure. But yeah, just tough break there. I'm still kind of salty about it, even though it's Xfinity. Thought he was gonna, pick up that win for Ricky in that number 17 car, and just pure domination, and just sucks he could not get that win.
Yeah, it was definitely a heartbreaker there. Again, just seems like every single race, it's some sort of new um, thing that breaks our hearts, and Kyle Larson ends up finishing second or third or whatever. But a lot of people kind of the backlash on social media after this race was very harsh for Kyle. I mean, everybody was saying, "Oh, Kyle lost to a little kid, Ty Gibbs, the Silver Spoon kid," and I'm tired of hearing all that crap. I mean, it's Ty Gibbs is the real deal. I think people need to wake up and see that. I mean, he is the future of Joe Gibbs Racing, and you know I mean, it says a lot about a driver that can go out there at his age and pass Kyle the way he did, a clean, very clean way. I mean, I know there's been some stuff he's done this year that I haven't agreed with necessarily, and a lot of people haven't agreed with. But Ty Gibbs, he is definitely undeniably one of the best cars out there every single week in the Xfinity series, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is in the Cup series in just a couple of years.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he has the talent for sure. He's surrounded by obviously his grandfather is Gibbs, so that helps him set him up. But yeah, I think he could be the next Kyle Busch. Everyone already hates him and he's an Xfinity, so he's definitely kind of following in his footsteps a bit. Um, yeah, just congrats to him there. He raced hard there at the end. He tends to be pretty aggressive, so I was kind of buckling up for some drama there at the end. But for the most part, it was a clean race with Kyle, and he just kind of got the upper hand on him there, and that's nothing to be ashamed of.
Absolutely. So on to Sunday in the Cup Series. We thought maybe, maybe a second on Saturday. Maybe we pick up the win on Sunday, but wasn't the case. Honestly, I think that the Saturday race, the Xfinity race, was a lot more exciting than the Cup Series race on Sunday. I mean, we've seen it at a lot of tracks this year where this maybe not doesn't affect the product of racing, but again, Xfinity Series cars were setting as or just as close to or nearly faster lap times than the Cup Series cars were, the next gen car, and another boring race for the next gen car seems to kind of be a common trend. We've talked about it every single week, where a track that was pretty good last year on the schedule ends up being pretty boring this year. And with the rumors, I'm sure everybody's heard it, of Road America getting dropped off the schedule for a potential Chicago Street Course. We saw that Chicago Street Course as an iRacing event a couple years ago, but honestly, not a very good showing for Road America, and I don't think it's their fault at all. I think it's the next gen car, and just seemed like everybody was stuck. Kyle Larson ran literally third all day long. There was nowhere he couldn't couldn't get ahead, and nobody could really pass him. So I mean, just a boring race, Dylan.
Yeah, that probably has to be the most boring race I've watched this year, honestly. We have Martinsville up there, but that has to be the most boring. Just an absolute snooze fest. And with these bad races, we always relate to the Jeff Gluck polls and on whether the race was good or not. And 55.6 voted yes, which is very surprising to me. I think that's pretty inflated. Good result for Larson. He did get the third place finish, but other than the fact that Reddick won his first race, the race was just awful. Um, like I said, I would rate it worse than Martinsville probably, and deem it the worst points race of 2022 because that All Star race was very bad. But it's not a points race. But obviously, Reddick and Elliott were the clear cut fastest cars of the race. But when you have like someone like Larson, third place car, and he's what 16 seconds behind Reddick and Elliott, it doesn't make for a very good viewing experience. And it was pretty much just a 1v1 the entire second half of the race, and no one was even close to being in the camera view other than Reddick and Elliott. So just no passing, just such a lackluster race. And like you said, the Chicago Street Race thing, it definitely opens up the possibility now for taking off the schedule because it was so much worse than last year's race, and it could definitely be an option next year.
Yeah, and I really feel bad for Road America because after this race they're going to be going to do a full repave of the entire course, and they're investing a lot of money into that circuit. And I know they have IndyCar events and IMSA stuff throughout the year, but I mean I think NASCAR, there's a lot of NASCAR fans up there, and I don't think that a Chicago street course is going to be any better product of racing than what we saw on Sunday. I think there's things that need to be done to this next gen car to fix what happened out there on Sunday. What was a very boring race, and I don't think a street course. I mean, if you watch a lot of street course races, there's not a lot of passing. I mean, if you watch IndyCar or Formula One, usually a lot of the street courses are some of the most boring races of the schedule. So I mean, we'll see. Maybe the Chicago street course will be cool if that ends up coming to fruition. But I hope that Road America gets another chance and some changes are made going into that race.
Yeah, Road America is a somewhat historical venue, and just racing overall, not NASCAR. But as I said, Reddick did pick up his first victory, so congrats to him. That was long overdue. He should have had a win there at Bristol Dirt early in the year, but kind of want to talk about a little interesting stat there. So the five first time winners we have this year is the most first time Cup winners we have seen in a season since 2011. And the last time before that was 2002 and 2001. So, we continue to talk about it, the more than 16 winners. So, another new winner. As the weeks go on, do you think we will see 17 winners?
Well, I'll tell you, we have 8 races left before the playoffs start, and one thing about those 8 races is that we have some wild card races in there where we could see some different winners. I mean, this week on a road course, we've seen the RCR cars be very fast on road courses, and we've seen other races this year where we've seen some other guys be fast on road courses. So, looking at the 8 races that we have left before the playoffs start, we have 2 road courses in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course at the end of July. And then we also have Watkins Glen, which is another road course. And then we have 2 super speedway esque races. I mean, I kind of group Atlanta next week into that category where we could see a surprise winner next week. And then obviously the final race before the playoffs is at Daytona. So, anybody can win there as well. So, 4 out of the last 8 races we're going to see here before the playoffs, we have a very good chance of seeing some wild card winners. And, I would very well not be surprised if we do get over that 16 winner mark. And, especially now with Reddick winning, only 3 spots remain for drivers without wins right now. And, it's going to be tight going into these last 8 races. I mean, there's a lot of guys that really need to get their win. I mean, Blaney, we saw him. He's been fast all year and obviously picked up the All Star win. But I think he could get a chance to be in victory lane very soon. And the Fords have been really fast on the super speedway, the low horsepower packages. So I mean, this week at Atlanta could be a good one for him. But Christopher Bell and Martin Truex Jr., even Kevin Harvick and Eric Almirola. I mean, we saw Eric Almirola pick up a win at New Hampshire last year and lock himself into the playoffs. That's still a race that's coming up before the playoffs. Maybe he gets a win there, and it gets very tight really quick as we see a couple more winners here this year.
Yeah, with the new super speedway configuration that Atlanta holds, it's basically a super speedway now. It's pretty much anyone's race, and I thought that the first Atlanta race this year was pretty bad. Obviously, Larson had a poor result. He was wrecked in stage two, finished 30th. But yeah, you're talking about super speedways. We all love our Daytona and Talladega due to the whole historical aspect, but at the end of the day, it's usually a crash fest, and the driver with the most luck wins the race. So it definitely could be anyone's race, and you could get a guy that usually doesn't win a race. I mean, look at Daytona, the Daytona 500. Cindric, a rookie, won his first race. It locked in the playoffs. Last year, Michael McDowell, a guy that you know really, honestly, has no business being in the playoffs because I mean he's good on the road course, but other than that, not too solid. Um, so yeah, these super speedways and road courses, they kind of just open up a possibility for drivers that shouldn't really be in the playoffs and they're locked in. So it's tough. It's tough to have super speedways and such late in the schedule. The drivers are really close in points. We're potentially going to see another first time winner. So we do have the Daytona race end the regular season, and then the Talladega race in the postseason, and then now we have Atlanta. So yeah, just not too big of a fan of an extra super speedway as we head towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely going to shake things up, that's for sure. And I guess we'll kind of find out what direction we're going to go in this week. If we get another different winner this week, with only 7 races after Atlanta, things really are going to get tight. So we'll have to wait and see there. Last little piece about Road America. I think this was that race at Road America on Sunday was one where, you know, if Cliff Daniels were there, I know Cliff got a lot of hate before he had his suspension there for that Sonoma race, but I really think that if Cliff were there on Sunday at Road America, I think that Kyle would have had a chance to be battling with Reddick and Chase Elliott for that win. I think there wasn't really the adjustments made and the feedback given to Larson that Cliff usually gives him on a road course. I mean, I listen to the scanner every single week, and one thing I've noticed over the past 2 years about Cliff Daniels is that on road courses he gives tremendous feedback for Kyle, and turn by turn what he needs to do differently, what he's doing good, what other drivers are doing throughout the race to gain speed in certain areas of the track. And I heard a little bit of that from Kevin Mendering, but not as much as what I would usually hear from Cliff Daniels. And I think we really saw on Sunday the impact of Cliff Daniels not being there.
Yeah, it's tough. Definitely would have been a good win there. We've thrown away some wins this year, so it's tough as we're edging towards the end of regular season, not having Cliff Daniels there. Um, yeah, just pretty tough for Larson there. I mean, he didn't look like the fastest car, as I said. Reddick and Elliott had the clear cut car. They were the fastest, but who knows if Cliff was there, we could have been in contention for the win.
Definitely think that Cliff could have helped there, and maybe we don't know for sure, but definitely would have loved to have Cliff there for that race. Only 2 more weeks now before Cliff comes back. Finishing up about Atlanta, I mean, last year, like you said, or I mean, earlier in the season, excuse me, Kyle did finish 30th there in the spring, but he did get caught up in multiple incidents. Really, Kyle did show speed throughout that race. I mean, it's obviously that super speedway style of race, but Kyle, even after getting involved in the first incident, fought his way back up, was able to kind of battle up there, and got caught up in his second one that ultimately took him out of the race. But I think that Kyle has just as good of a chance as anybody to win this week. And, just like how he did at Talladega earlier in the year, picking up that fourth place finish there, I think Kyle's going to have to, take his time and stay out of trouble and, really just be there at the end to try and make that race winning move.
Yeah, he's always usually pretty fast in the super speedways. Daytona earlier in the year, he was running up front the whole time until he was caught in a wreck, and then, like you said, Talladega fourth place finish. So, if he can just avoid a wreck, he's usually one of the fastest cars out there. So, but as I said earlier, it is pretty much luck based at these super speedways. So, we just gotta hope that nothing bad happens, gets involved in a wreck. So that's usually how these pack car races end up.
So, kind of looking ahead to Kyle Larson's schedule this weekend, like I said, we're going to be at NASCAR's going to be at Atlanta this weekend. NASCAR did end up cutting out the practice portion of the schedule due to the track kind of racing more like a Talladega or a Daytona. So, only qualifying and the race this weekend. Qualifying can be seen on USA at 11:35 a.m. on Saturday. I did see that maybe the first like 20 minutes or so of that isn't going to be televised. I think it might be on USA at 12. Not really sure what's going on with all that stuff. It seems kind of weird, the TV stuff that's going on right now with USA and NBC and NASCAR, but hopefully that'll get sorted out before we get to the playoffs. And then the race will be at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on USA as well. As far as dirt goes, Kyle Larson, we just did get confirmation before we started this recording that Kyle Larson is going to be at the Lernerville Speedway on Wednesday night for the Silver Cup with the All Star Circuit of Champions sprint cars. Definitely a big one for Kyle. He finished second at this event back in July of 2020. Back then, the race was sanctioned by the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, but Kyle picked up that second place finish and was very close to besting Donnie Schatz, who picked up the win that night. Kyle hasn't ran any All-Star races yet this season, so this will be his first one battling out with those guys. Tyler, Courtney, and them. So we'll see how he fares, and I think Kyle's got a good chance to go out there and win at Lernerville.
Yeah, he's definitely due for one. He's just edging so close. Just like recently in Speed Week, he's just edging close and close to a win. And near the end of the race, something always seems to happen. Lincoln, second place there. Grandview, the left rear just completely obliterated. Port Royal, flat tire. Hagerstown, second place. So he's really due for a win. So hopefully he gets the chance to do so tomorrow. The forecast isn't looking, the best. It's supposed to rain, so let's hope he gets the chance to contend for a win.
Absolutely. So as far as any other stuff, I think Ransomville is where the All Stars will head to on Friday up in New York. As of now, no confirmation on that race, whether Kyle's going to be there or not. Obviously stay plugged into all of our socials to try and find out if that is going to be something Kyle Larson's going to be at. And with that being said, Dylan, is there anything else you would like to talk about today's show?
That should pretty much cover it. Let's just hope for, as always, a good stretch of races here. Super Speedway coming up, so let's hope he's not involved in anything bad. And yeah, it should pretty much cover it.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in and listening to the show this week. As always, check out the links in our description for some awesome Kyle Larson Facebook groups. We'll be back again next week to recap all of the racing from Atlanta this weekend, as well as any other racing that Kyle may participate in, including the Silver Cup there at Lernerville. Next week, we'll also be giving our full preview of the historical big one returning to Eldora, as well as the King's Royal there at Eldora, as Kyle Larson looks to defend his title in that event. If you're watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please follow our podcast so you don't miss a thing. Have a great rest of the week, everyone, and enjoy the on-track action over the next week. We will see you in the next episode.